Okay, so hello, uranium friends. Great couple of weeks, months, days in the uranium sector, but we're going to talk about baseload here because we've had some exchanges on Twitter with a couple of the UTwit crew on baseload, and they just did a private placement today and upsized it all in the same day, about $9 million or whatnot, 9 million units. I'll link in the actual news release to this in the comments there. But regardless of that, let's just look at the technicals. Okay, so here is a quarterly chart. Every candle is 3 months. As we can see, what really has occurred, it has lost its uptrend, right? So here was your higher low. It made a new high, and then it broke down below this higher low. So really, what's going on in the quarterly now? It has just lost its quarterly uptrend. All right, so we'll zoom in into multiple time frames so we can get a better look. So here we are in the monthly. Now this is a confirmed downtrend, and it's kind of it has a bit of a falling wedge here that you can see drawn, and it's working its way out of it sideways. So not a bad deal in any sense of the word, but and there's a couple of positives here, right? So we this white line here is the 200-day moving average, and it has gotten above it and is literally using it as support at the moment. So you got a little bit of a moving average squeeze going on here. Let's just zoom in a little bit so we can take a look actually at these averages. So yeah, this white line, 200-day moving average. This pink line is just starting to form, and that is your 50-day. So you kind of have the beginnings of a possible golden cross, is what they call it. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that term, but at the moment we still have this red line, which is the 12 EMA, and that is acting as resistance. But the good thing is that it's kind of worked its way out of its wedge, and we're going to see it better on the weekly. This actual wedge that I'm talking about. So wedges, descending wedges like this, or falling wedges for that matter. You tend to want to look bullish at them. They tend to be bullish formations, and we've gotten out of it. So the other thing that's going on with this weekly here, other than this little bit of a wonky Adam and Eve pattern, but more so, let's just take a look at this possibility of a cup and handle that could be forming. We don't really have, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's psychological. There's a pattern here. You have this nice rounding bottom. It's consolidating. It's a lot of consolidation. Some would say, pure technical analysts would say it's a little too deep. This handle, but the psychology is there. So we have a good rounding bottom. It's resumed a weekly uptrend here. It has, let's see, has it yet to confirm it? You've got your low, you've got your high, you've got your higher low, you've got your higher high, higher low, higher high. So you do have a bit of a weekly uptrend that's been forming here. And what we like to see is, all these lower wicks are getting, they're showing that the buyers are kind of showing up and giving this thing support. And it makes some sense because when we look over at this volume profile, we've got a good shelf of support here. So, if in my opinion, I'm going to be a little worried once it starts getting down to this 39 cents Canadian. Then I have to rethink my look on this thing. But we've got all of these moving averages that are stacking, so and they're kind of acting as support. It's a decent look. The real truth of the matter is this thing is lagging way behind the rest of the sector. It's not participating in the moves on the sector. It's kind of doing a little bit on its own. So you could absolutely put this in the weaker uranium name category. So whether you decide that it's an undervalued name, quote unquote, or a laggard, quote unquote, that's up to you. I'm just looking at these chart patterns, and that's kind of how I'm basing things. So the good news is, gotten out of the falling wedge, starting to use some moving averages as support, some lower wicks for buying. We're building up a demand zone here, and it's holding nicely as support for the name at the moment. Let's just let's get the full life of this stock. And yeah, I mean, it's still there. So this is kind of the spot. It's going to be really bad news for this if it loses these lows here, but we're not there yet. And into the daily we go. Let's just see if we can glean anything. Yeah. So what's happened here is that this thing is actually, it confirmed a daily downtrend with no follow through. Okay. And we see today that we have some nice volume. And, it makes some sense because the whole sector is moving and people that may have missed the boat are looking for these laggards. Okay, so that's the deal. There's a financing that's involved here, and there's a lot of units. Some of them are flow through, some of them aren't. We're going to have to see what the details of this are. It's supposed to, they're estimating that this financing is going to be closed by October 16th. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. It's just an estimation. Um, but daily downtrend confirmed, no follow through, high volume reversal here. You could see continuation, possibly. Maybe everybody was hesitant on baseload because they were waiting to see that maybe everybody knows that they needed money, and now that they've gotten that out of the way, maybe this name continues forward. So that's it. I have a small position. If I see this support level hold, maybe I'll be interested in taking a stab because, of course, I'm a laggard grabber as well. The problem is that the rest of the space uh, is doing some interesting things. If we just go back, let's just take a look at the ETFs for a moment. So we can see. I mean, this is URNM. This is UR. I'm sorry. This is URA. This is URNM, and this is URNJ. So URNJ is getting some record amounts of volume, and it makes some sense, right? So we're getting a little bit of a rotation out of the big guys and going into the small guys. And URNJ, quite frankly, is a great way to play all these juniors and these small caps and these micro caps. URNM has some also. So the thing about URNJ is baseload's not in it. So that's another little bit of a situation that we might have to deal with. So, here is the holdings for URNJ as of 9/22, and you could go and check it for yourself, but no baseload in here. So if we're hinging upon the fact that it's going to get flywheel effect from URNJ, it's not, okay, because it's not in there. So base load, a little bit of a laggard, undervalued, garbage. That's up to you to decide. I'm not the big fundamental guy. There are some people on Uranium Squeeze that say this Sykes guy is a seasoned veteran of the mining space, uranium mining space. My opinion, rising tide lifts all boats at some point, but this is clearly a different chart than the majority of the names in the space. So that's the deal. Financing is now here. There's some clarity. 40.405 for 3 million units and 0.48 Canadian with flow through units at 5.2 million. So there's a lot of units. There is some flow through. I know a lot of people don't really like the flow through. Just got to see how the financing plays out and how it's received. But daily downtrend, it was an uptrend, right? Lost it. Confirms a daily downtrend with no follow through. So levels here are fairly important at the moment to see how the name reacts price action wise. Okay. So this is it. That's the deal. Weekly uptrend intact, little bit of a not the best look other than these wicks that are showing some buying support here. Out of the falling wedge, we'll see how it plays out. Over and out.